Well, time now to introduce the next guest right here on Startup Central. Vibhav Chokhani is now joining us right here on the show. Incidentally, Vibhav is value investor, market maverick, Manish Chokhani's son. Vibhav, welcome to the show. Thanks for giving us time. As you can see, I can see Vibhav is, got his father's genes. He's very smartly got his company logo right behind him, Livinguard. Vibhav, you didn't want to be in the equity markets like your dad?
Firstly, thank you, Nayantara. Thank you so much for having me. Didn't want to be in the equity markets. Well, it's been an interesting journey. I have dabbled a little, but I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot through my time with Dad and through the partners at NAM. But I think just the opportunity of building the kind of business that we're trying to build over here at Livinguard, it's a fascinating opportunity.
What is Livinguard all about? What exactly do you do there? Tell us a bit more about this.
Sure. So Livinguard, we are a deep tech company. We are at the intersection of advanced materials and microbiology. So not your typical startup. We can basically make different materials like textiles, paper, plastics, and so on into permanent disinfectants. So just imagine if literally any surface around you could permanently and continuously and safely be killing germs. So think of, I would say think of something like a medical grade hygiene technology in everyday products around you. So we can be purifying the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, anything in contact with your skin, and almost any physical surface around you.
Okay, so how did you think of getting Livinguard to India? Livinguard, of course, is in multiple countries and all of that. I do believe you went to Wharton, you dabbled in the equity markets for a bit, and then you decided that this is what you want to do. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So, well, I learned a lot from really some of the best business professors at Wharton, from some world-class peers. I interned in TPG in Bombay and in San Francisco, so learned a lot about the sort of private equity space and building and seeing what it's like to build a business. And was exposed to Livinguard a few years back, where we had the opportunity to actually look at this technology company. So while I was abroad, I found it a compelling investment at the time and got involved. Spent some time with Infosys actually as well in Silicon Valley, where I was looking at kind of selling software development services to startups. So really seen sort of the spectrum of public market investing, private market investing, a large corporate like Infosys, as well as some bootstrap technology startups in the Valley. But this was just something very unique. So 2 years back, I decided to just come in and spend pretty much all my time with Livinguard. It's when I thought of it as an investor, I think Dad really opened my mind, where he said, "You're really in the unique position to have the luxury to fail." So I thought about that, and I said that if failure is an option, then why not fail big? And Livinguard is really that kind of opportunity. Of course, there's risk involved, but if it works, this is something that I believe could truly change the world.
So if you want to succeed with something really big. If you've got to fail doing something really big. I like that philosophy. And like Manish Chokhani told his son, you have the luxury to fail, so give it your best. Now you've explained us the technology and this, what the idea behind Livinguard is. You could literally be talking about anything. It could be about disinfecting water, to where we sit, to where we sleep, to the air. That's like what we do all the time, right? So are you trying to tell me that Livinguard is in all of these spaces?
Yeah, we have 8 different business areas. So those would be consumer hygiene, which can be your typical FMCG kind of products. It can be like a fabric care, home care, personal care. Something that's a little easier to visualize. Similarly, apparel is something that's of course that touches everyone's lives. And then we also have things like air purification and water purification. But of course, there are massive applications for this in the healthcare space. A lot of healthcare, medical related applications. We also have food. There's a lot of things that we can do with food, especially in terms of kind of extending the shelf life of food, which is a fascinating opportunity. We're also working on some professional textiles and some other industrial solutions. So yeah, we can be almost everywhere.
So these are what, additives?
So it depends on the use case, but we operate really as a technology company. So we basically are working on licensing our technology to various companies around the world. So typically it will involve some form of a license agreement as well as a material supply. And as you can see the branding behind me, we're also building up a technology ingredient brand. So something like an Intel Inside or like a Lycra, like a Gore-Tex, Teflon. So imagine Livinguard protecting various things that really touch your everyday life.
So, you know, I went on the website. Now, this is on behalf of all our viewers who also have to travel a lot on work, or if they're blessed to have good bosses who give them long holidays, unlike mine. I believe you have some technology which means you can just carry 1 or 2 or 3 days outfits and make it last almost 10 days without anyone complaining about body odor. I can't even begin to imagine it, or only surviving on 3 outfits for 10 days. But having said that, tell our viewers about this.
So that's absolutely right. So in the apparel space, so actually I can give you the live example. I'm off for a trip across Asia on Sunday. I'll be out for 2 weeks. I'm just carrying one carry-on bag. I don't need a suitcase. So it's again we can.
So how many jeans, how many shirts? What are you carrying? Give us an idea. How does it work?
Well, I need one shirt. I'm not well. Okay. So what happens is when you think of hygiene with your clothes, you're basically really concerned about microbes. You're concerned about bacteria in particular. And what happens is you feel sweaty, you feel grimy, you feel all of these things. And in particular, you mentioned body odor, you smell. It's not actually you that's smelling, it's the bacteria. So it's just that when you perspire, it's a very ripe environment for bacteria to grow in, to live in, to breed in. And it's really that entire phenomenon which results in the release of smelly chemicals, basically. So, but if you've got
so
clothes that are actually killing that.
Is there an additive or a spray? So is it an additive or a spray that you know at the end of the day you spray it, or like a dry shampoo for clothes? Could it be like that?
So we have different ways to do it. When we're working directly with the apparel companies, it's actually very easy. It's the actual application process, which is one type of patents that we own. It can integrate with existing supply chains, so there's no separate capex or anything required. It's basically a liquid. It's almost like you're dyeing your clothes. But that's with one application. The other very interesting application is on the consumer hygiene side, where we have sort of laundry solutions. So an additive like a laundry additive, where you don't need something that's been made with this technology embedded in it. We can give you the same properties for all your existing clothes. So you just add this into your laundry and it has these properties until it's washed again.
Oh, so you mean you don't even spray anything while you're going to be on this holiday for 10 days in Asia? You're going to wear just one shirt and you don't need to wash it at all, and it's not going to smell?
I just don't wash it, yeah.
Show us a before and after picture.
Yeah, but I just don't need to wash it.
I also believe, and I'm going to ask this for the young mamas and papas and grandparents, this can be used for diapers also. You don't have to change diapers.
Diapers as well. Yeah, so we are working with one of the world's largest diaper brands. So they sell billions of diapers every year, and turns out we can actually eliminate the odor of urine. So that's of course a really big deal for diapers. So I mean, that one product alone with one customer alone, we think in the most conservative estimates, we think could be a $50 million opportunity for us.
I'm from New Delhi. This is one of the worst times to be in the national capital. This is a time when you see the air quality really deteriorate. It's like we're living in a gas chamber, and even and passively smoking like 2-3 cigarette packets a day. That's just the way it is. I believe you're also looking at addressing this massive problem.
Right, so we are working on anti-pollution masks, respirators. So I actually have one right here. We're launching this with Amazon by Diwali. So if you look at the kind of stuff available in the market today, it's actually quite uncomfortable because it's basically paper and plastic and some combination thereof. This is a lot more comfortable. It's 249 rupees and it'll actually last you for 4 months. And other than, of course, being an N95 mask, which protects you against pollution, because of our technology, it can also kill the influenza virus and kill TB.
Okay. Oh, so it'll protect you from like viruses and stuff as well, is the point you're trying to get at. So, you've clearly got access to cutting edge technology, whether it's to do with what we said about laundry or air and all of that. How has Livinguard been received in India?
So it's definitely an interesting dynamic. I mean, we're working with some of the world's largest, most respected companies in India and globally. We have a lot of conversations going on in US and Europe, in India now. We have some efforts going on in the rest of Asia as well. And just the sort of innovation culture is very different. With some of the global leaders, we find that they're in these sort of quote unquote developed markets. So there's this need for innovation, and the way they work with us is some of them are literally like coming and saying, please, can you do some contract research and development work for us? These are the problems we're facing. Can you help us find a solution? They're willing to pay us for this. We maintain ownership of the IP on all of this. Whereas in India, I guess sort of growth is kind of a given here. So the kind of risk is not so much in terms of launching a new product or anything like that. I mean, even the sort of pricing challenges that one would expect to face in the Indian market, the stuff we work on over here, we can actually make the economics work. We actually can meet the pricing requirements. But the thing is that method of working, that kind of partnership mentality, it's a very different. We don't really see that here very easily. It's almost like, it's kind of like having the privilege to sell to these companies here. So it's a very different approach.
What do you mean by privilege? Do they make you feel like that? Because, I mean, from what you're then saying also is that are Indian corporates not easy to sell technology to? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's, I mean, privilege in the sense, of course, it's not like we're not respected or anything like that. I think we have some revolutionary technology. We have a fantastic team behind this. But it's really, I think it's more of just that you should feel like you're working with a great company here, and it's just a different mindset. And really, we have the access to the market, we have the distribution. If we don't launch this product, that's fine. There are 20 other products we can launch ourselves anyway. So I think maybe it's coming from a little bit of that space.
Okay, that's a good insight into how it is to deal with an Indian businessman. This is, of course, a show which is also dedicated to entrepreneurship. Vibhav Chokhani, I'd like to thank you for being a part of Startup Central, for taking the time out. And here's wishing you all the very best. I'm sure you're going to prove your dad right by saying there's going to be a big success and not a big failure. As he said, you have the luxury to do as well.
Thank you so much, Nayantara. See you next time.